hasn't been. Oh, hold on. I might have the guest. Might have a guest. I see him connecting right now. If the boys in the
Look
Zoom
what we
can,
have here.
yeah, if the boys in the Zoom can see it right now, I know they're gonna be pumped. I see him connecting. We'll see what's up. It's really good for what it is, but leaves you want more. Yeah, I saw the busy lyric book. Okay, we got you. You in?
I don't know, Emma.
You win. Hey, 101. Welcome back. It hasn't been long. I appreciate you last second jumping in. I hit 101 and I was like, yo, bro, I had a cancellation. I'm like, we all just on here chilling. If you're not busy, you want to hop back in and just kind of give me a follow up. And he was like, I'll be right there. So shout out to 101 for the last minute pop in. We've been talking about you this whole episode. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the comments from your interview or not, but I mean, for real, bro, some people are like, yo, this is the greatest interview that you guys have done in all the seasons. Like, I knew our interview was going to be good. You and I had talked about it a lot. I said, hey, I know this is going to be good, but I also questioned to myself, I'm like, well, how good is this going to be? Because he's only got that one verse for us to really connect with the fans. So I was like, I don't know how good it's going to be. It's top notch. It did great numbers in a very short amount of time, and the feedback has been outstanding. Have you had a chance to see any of that? What the fans have thought?
Yeah, I read through it a couple times. I just like to see the good feedback and how people took to it. This is my first time doing an interview, and really, especially with technology, now people can blink right in and tell you how they feel about something, put a thumbs up, thumbs down. So I really appreciate all the great comments, all the people's interest. It means a lot to me, really.
Yeah. No, it's been really good, and you're a guy that is more quiet on social media, and I think that if you were not, you would probably have an inbox full of people hitting you up because people were so excited coming out of that. Did you, and I know that this is all kind of new as far as the interviews and things like that, but just thinking about your story and stuff going into the interview, did you kind of feel like, hey, people are going to gravitate towards my story once they hear it? Did you feel like people are really going to connect the way that they did?
No, actually, I didn't, because I know social media can be cruel. Can say some real cruel things. So I expected some negativity, some positivity. I done seen people make negative comments on positive things and positive comments on negative things.
Right.
So you never know what you're gonna get. So like I said, I was just real appreciative and humbled by all the great comments and nice thumbs up, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, I was really surprised. I wanted our follow up to be a little further away, but you were the first person when unfortunately Thug Queen was going to come on, and she had a real bad hold up in the middle of it, and she was very upset that she couldn't be here, and she's going to reschedule. And I was like, man, who can we grab right now? And I was like, I'm gonna hit 101 right now because we've been talking so much. We were telling the fans earlier that you and I were talking about you doing some features and some songs and things like that. And I know that even before the interview, that was something that you were thinking about, doing, and that you were looking into. Did you find extra motivation coming out of the interview and seeing all the positive, the positivity around it to kind of make some new music?
Oh, absolutely. Because time has been discouraging. I've been through so many downfalls and stuff like that. It's kind of discouraging. So to see that people would actually take interest in it really just perks my interest in coming back and being able to do some features. I'm not trying to get heavy in the game or none of that kind of stuff. But it's a saying that I read in a book said, "Don't die with your music still in you."
Yeah, you said that last time. It really it hit me hard.
Just an artist my whole life, and really always, even when I talk, I be rhyming. People be like, "Man, stop rhyming." I don't even do it on purpose all the time. So, it's some music in me, so I don't mind bringing it out with some good people or with on a good platform where just people could take an interest in it. Whether I know it probably won't reach millions of people and none of that, but the people that it do reach and the people that do touch, that's good enough for me.
We had talked a little bit about the possibility of like a GYS reunion with like you and Sin and stuff. If that doesn't come together, is there a possibility of even like a small like EP of you for something with the fans, something 4 to 6 songs or something?
Well, people been inboxing me lately about old music that I spoke on a lot of songs that's out here that I haven't had access to and things like that. So I got some emails of some old music that I have been doing from people that kept it, and
Mm.
but I got a lot of new things in my head. Like me and Freaky G, we got a cut we working on called Dark Web. We supposed to be scheduling a video date for it.
Oh.
For me, I always been futuristic. It seemed like I'm always rapping about stuff years before it come out. I had an album called Jihad long before the Holy War came out. You know what I'm saying? I wrote 3 albums called The Past, Present, and Future. So, I think that we can make some things that can influence and maybe make people see the music genre and, street culture from a different perspective.
Yeah, I think that there's still a lot left in the tank for you, and I think that that's what that interview kind of told us all. I was waiting to see, like I said, what the reception was going to be like, and the reception was so good that I was like, man, this guy's got it. It's really crazy if you think about it that for this community of fans, your actual impact is only, that verse and your association to Graveyard Shift. So it's like for you to be that impactful as a figure based on that limited of a touch on them, it's like, wow, that it would be a shame to not, go further. So I'm glad that you and Freak are working together. Freak's my guy, man. I tell him all the time, like, send me music, send whatever. He's been on Beyond the Harmony. I really enjoyed talking with Freaky G. I'm glad that's somebody that you're working with. He's got a really cool setup too.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna check him out. I'm gonna go up there, up to Cleveland.
Yeah.
I'm not in Cleveland at the present time.
Yeah. No, that'll be good, man. All Freak stuff has been pretty good, and actually a bunch of his videos have been good as well. We're gonna set the reschedule up. Something that somebody was asking, who was it, John? Therese tonight, before they even knew we were going to bring you on, Therese was saying, that's one of our listeners, one of our loyal listeners for years, all in caps, ask him about the Kool-Aid hat. What does the Kool-Aid hat mean?
But when you shoot somebody and some blood come out their head, it look like Kool-Aid over the top of the picture.
There you go, Therese. I hope that I hope that answered your question.
A little artistic way of saying it.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you this: has there been anything? I guess because we talked about how much positive came from the interview and everything. Has there been any negativity or anything negative that came from the interview your way?
If it haven't hit my desk.
Yeah, hey, that's awesome. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear, man.
I really don't focus on negative stuff anyway. I try to keep a positive attitude about everything, even when people make negative comments. Like I said, when bad things happen with the Graveyard Shift, unfortunately, that gave us positive publicity, as bad as it was. So I always try to find a silver lining in every dark cloud. Even people's negative comments, you got to pay attention to them. I don't look at them as haters. I look at them as people with an opinion. And if you pay attention to the people with the negative opinions, maybe you can fine tune yourself. But if you only listen to the positive, you never get a chance to work on your negatives or the way you come off to people. It might not be so impressive. So if it was some negative comments, I would have just grew from it.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, as far as what I saw, there was no negativity. In fact, people were.
I didn't see any.
Yeah, no, people were repeatedly asking, when you were going to come back on and things like that. So, we were talking a lot, and I was like, it would be great to have 101 come on and just be. Just kind of like not even to just necessarily talk about Bone or anything like that. I thought your opinions and your views were so good that it's just interesting to hear your viewpoints on things. Like I was really curious based on the fact that you're a lyricist. In fact, in the Sin interview, like he talked about how advanced you were lyrically. So I was really curious, like how you kind of felt about the current state of hip hop and the music and things that are going on like right now.
People be surprised of some of the artists that I like. But my son is a young artist down in Atlanta. So he sends me his music all the time and I love it. It comes from a young guy's perspective. I think the music industry is always going to evolve. I would like to hear people with a little bit more substance other than the same drugs, streets, guns, gangs. You know what I'm saying? I would like to hear some people with a little more. It don't even have to be a positive spin, but a different spin to life, a different spin to the aspect of art, because the art not just about what goes on in the street. The art is about what goes on in the world. And hip hop is the voice of the world, so it should be telling the world a little bit more than just the basic, you know what I'm saying, guns and drugs are good. That's my opinion. Although I love gangster rap, I love gangster music. So, you know, I guess that's a double-edged sword.
I don't know if you've had the opportunity, because I know that being out, you know, is all really new to you, because you had spent so much time incarcerated recently. Have you had a chance at all to hear any of the Bloodline Harmony stuff at all? That's like Busy Bones, like sons and nephews, and they have a group called Bloodline Harmony.
No, I haven't.
I'm gonna have to send you a little bit of that. I'll have to get what see what you think. Fans are really split on it. Some fans really like it. I'm in the fans that really like it. Some fans, don't. But I'm like, well, this is like a new spin. If Bone came out and in this era, this is kind of what it would sound like. So I'll have to send a little bit of that to you.
Yeah, send it to me. I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, something that we had talked about. And you had actually said, hey, I held a couple things back in case I ever came back on. And surprise, 2 weeks later, here you are.
Right.
Something I had sent you a message about was we were talking about Gates during your interview. And I had said, hey, did you ever meet him? And you said no. And when we got offline, I said, hey, I found out, and I'm sure you knew this, but I had no idea that Gates was Tombstone's nephew, because we actually, during your interview, I think we had 2 other of his nephews in the live chat during your interview talking, and one of them had said, hey, Gates is his one of his other nephews.
Oh no, if I said I didn't have opportunity to meet Gates, I misspoke. I had a chance to meet him on a couple occasions.
Oh, so you actually had interactions with him, like you guys had? Yeah. But
I knew he was T-Rock nephew from the outset.
But that was well before probably everything happened, right? Like you met Gates like when you were still GYS and everything, or even before that?
I never seen him before that. I never heard of him until he was on the Graveyard Shift music.
Oh, really?
I told you when 1999 Eternal came out, I was incarcerated. So when I was hearing about the tours, because the whole hood was touring with Bone as bodyguards and just going on tour. So everything that happened and everything that went on, I always knew everything from step 1, step 2. So I was already hearing that he was there, and I already knew who he was. I knew who I wanted to speak to when I got home.
One of the we just had a fan question come in. I know we're kind of running in a bunch of different directions, but I want to make sure the fans get their questions in. Somebody had said, I'm curious to know some of his spirituality. He had mentioned he had a dark topics earlier, and now he's found a more light approach. Are there any knowledge or books that really influenced his mind?
And there's so many books that influenced my mind, because I had to take a journey. I call it the reconciliation of self. When you start with who you are and you journey to who you become, but not separating those 2 things. So I went through a lot of teachers. I actually started studying with a guy. Well, actually, my very first spiritual Bible that I read was the Bhagavad Gita, and that was in a hotel in L.A. when we first got out there with Bone. I guess that's the Hindu scripture, and I started reading that. And later, I was a guy that always had books, no matter what it was. Everybody always see me like I was a backpacker at heart. I always been a nerd, so I probably read every book that my homeboy had. He used to have a black bookstore down on 55th and Superior called Timbuktu. And I used to go to a spot called the Shrine of the Black Madonna in Houston and get books. So, I've been influenced from books all the way from the 48 Laws of Power to, I could go the Mastermind, the Kabbalion, so many different books about universal law and how to use your mind to formulate the life that you live. Things to better and fine tune you characteristically when you out dealing with the world. And, it's a cutthroat world out here. So you got to be an intellectual. You can't always be a physical barbarian and deal with everything physically. And I had to learn that the hard way. So I studied with a guy, Dr. Malachi York, who had built some pyramids down in Georgia. I journeyed through the 5% lessons with the guys in Earth. So I journeyed through the more science. I still study with the more science. I done been somewhere everywhere. I probably read most scriptures. I read the Quran backwards and forth. I read the Bible backwards and forth. Then Jill, all types of books. And I can name hundreds and hundreds of them.
Mm.
Do you have any tips for like books like the Kabbalion and the Bhagavad Gita? Because I've tried reading those and the Book of Thoth or the Emerald Tablets and all that, and the words don't even make sense to me. Like I'm trying, but is there like a way to better interpret it?
I don't know how an individual interprets the information. Me, I takes it and people always be astonished at how I retain so much different stuff. But I only retain things that I can see in my practical everyday activity. So when I look at books like the Kabbalion, and I focus on the seven principles of universal law inside of there, the mentalism, vibration, rhythm, polarity. And when you think about that, you think about music, the soundtrack to an action. If a person going to shoot somebody, they're not listening to jazz. So their mentalism and the vibration, the rhythm, the polarity, the cause and effect, and the gender is all there in every action that you do. So I apply those things to my daily activities. If I'm doing something, I want to listen to positive music. I'm in a positive mood, then that's what I'm gonna listen to. But because if you listen to certain things or do certain things, that's gonna be the vibratory rate that you bring forth. So as far as the Kabbalion, that's how I really interpret that, and that's how I use that on a daily basis. As far as the Bhagavad Gita, I look at it almost like a song that I'm reading, because it's coming from somebody's artistical perspective. And you might have to listen to a song hundreds of times before you get the meaning of it. You got to really internalize it and see where this person is at when they wrote that. So think about these great spiritual people who wrote these books. Where was their mind and spirit at when they created this song, this book? The Quran is a song. The Bhagavad Gita, they're songs. And that's the way I look at it. And that's probably just my artist perspective, but it works for me. And that's how I retain the information to find a way to use it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And just this past 4th of July, somebody sent me a video that there's a monastery in Tibet. So that's Buddhism.
Right.
They uncovered like 13,000 ancient scrolls in this like big warehouse. I mean, it's an ancient warehouse, so it's not like warehouses now.
Right.
And I can't imagine what's inside the text of those books, just to read one of them, just to see what people from the years 1000 to 1500 has that crossed your plate at all? Did you hear about that? Because
I'm aware of a lot of sad states of ancient literature that was destroyed, hidden. They still got books that everybody can't go see. People been hoarding information forever. Fortunately for us, we're moving into the information age. So you can't hide everything. Even people's interpretations is going to grow as we journey into this new age. We just in the first steps of it. So you see people awakening the information and using it to their advantage. So I can see that a lot of those ancient things are going to come up around the world because it's the time for that information to be presented to the world and the people to get a piece of it. So if we haven't seen them, we'll probably start seeing them. I'm sure somebody under lock and key and a gun to keep us from seeing all of it, but it'll leak. Just like everything else.
Yeah, I'm with that, man. That's and just curious on the title of the dark web. I mean, not to give anything away, but is it like, have you and Freaky G, are you into like the dark web and the deep web and using like the Tor browser and all that, or does it mean something completely different?
No, I'm a secretive person. So anything I do, I don't like people watching me and prying eyes and Big Brother over my shoulder all the time. So anything that's trying to show me a way to be incognito or find a way to not be tracked and targeted, because they use algorithms, and the algorithms track your every move, your every decision, your every choice, and before you know it, they know you're hungry before you do, telling you what you want to eat for dinner based on the algorithm. And I don't want nobody to be that intimate with me. So I found a way to, start looking at information and seeing things that's not accessible to the normal person first. And that's how my intrigue went. Just like with books, I always wanted to look for the books that people couldn't find. The guy spoke on a book, it's a book, journey of books called the Knocalypsis. I think it's Sir Godfrey Higgins. I think he might have wrote it, or one guy. And you can't find these books, so I'm always on a journey trying to find new information, the things that's hidden. And the dark web ended up being, I guess, the information age hidden book for me.
I've always wondered, and if the game is to be sold, not told, that's fine. I don't know what the difference is between the 5 percenters and the gods and earths. Are they the same thing?
And don't
Is
let
there a
me
difference?
like don't I don't want to speak like I'm a spokesman for anybody because I don't want nobody to be offended from my view and perspective of things. From my understanding is that they don't know themselves or speak of themselves or call themselves as 5%ers. We call themselves the nations of gods and earths. And it's just, you know what I'm saying, it's a 5% of the population with a certain level of information. You got the 85% of the people that's basically deaf, dumb, and blind, and what they call sheeple. There's people that go along, get along, misinformation or no information. Then you got the 10% people that got some information, but they hoard it and don't want to share it. And then you got the 5% nation that has it, willing to share it, give it up, and continue to grow, develop, and build from there.
I just
Okay,
want.
that work.
Oh, go ahead, John.
No, I'm saying that works. All right, now I have a better understanding.
Usually, if a guy walks to me and say, "Yeah, I'm a 5%er," I know he probably not all the way into the teachings as much as he probably proclaiming.
Ah, okay.
And that's how I see it. And usually that's how I work out. If I ask them a couple questions or, you know what I'm saying, just to see how far they went. They didn't go too far. That's why they say that.
I just want to throw out. I just since 101's been in here, I had a couple of questions, an email and an inbox about features. And I said at the beginning of the show, if you guys are interested in a 101 feature, it's beyondtheharmony99@gmail.com. Send me a message. Let me know what you have on your mind, and we can talk about the details, and we can take it from there. It's all about the presentation and what you guys have in mind. And hit my email, and we'll take it from there. But we can definitely make it happen. People are excited, man. Like as soon as I put it out there, people are excited to work with you. That must be it must be really, I guess, lifting of your spirit to come from where you've come from, and especially land on your feet this time coming out of incarceration, do this interview and just see so many people, not just the fans that are excited about just hearing your story, but people that are actually like, how do I get a song with this guy? Like that must be really good for the spirit.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I say, I'm really appreciative and humbled by it. If I could grace somebody's music and make them enjoy it better or whatever it is, I'll be grateful to do it. Just to be able to use my talent and share it. Even it's just fans, people that want to hear me and want to make a song with me. That's how I make music anyway. I never made music for people. I made music for me, and if you like it, that's great. I wasn't trying to be a real people pleaser after a certain point in my music. In the beginning, you want people to like you, but as I grew as an artist and as a person, I started to realize as long as you like you, people will get in. As long as you're true to yourself, people will like it. So if somebody want to do something like that, hit me up. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah. No, for sure. Something I had wondered about after we had spoke. In life, it's so easy to think about, almost that butterfly effect of, hey, if this happened, where would I be, and how would my life be different? And you're a guy that you faced your own trials and tribulations, like we've talked about, in your interviews and stuff. Knowing the outcome of Mo Thug, Graveyard Shift, things like that, in the world where things do go the other way, is, even though you're a guy that didn't end up reaping the record label benefits, and you ended up incarcerated, is there a piece of you that is still like relieved that you didn't end up down that path, knowing what we know about all the situations now?
Well, I think real destinies unfold in time. And you can think that one thing is destined for you and you got something greater than that. Sometimes you got to go through the trials and tribulations because my incarcerations have come out to start helping me as a person and in life now. Because those are experiences I got. And even through those experiences, people see my ability, the things I learned. Because I spent every day in prison reading, learning, and fine-tuning myself, and not really getting caught up in what goes on inside the institutions per se. So, with that, I'm still finding my destiny, and it's coming back even with you guys bringing this forth. I wouldn't have came on YouTube or another channel and even had these topics or discussions discussed. So, as you grow and develop, life grows and develops with you. It opens up a future that you might not have seen. And I think I wrote a book called Derailed Destiny, Dreams Deferred, because a lot of times, we can have a destiny and set our mind to it and want to go to it, but we get derailed in that. And at some point, you got to catch it. It's like missing a train, but running, trying to catch up with it. If you run fast enough, you run strong enough and hard enough, and then make enough stops, you can catch back up with it. So I think that's life for me. You know, I missed a couple trains, then now in time, I catch back up with them, but I'll enjoy the seat when I finally catch up with it.
Mm. You had said that you had written a book. Was that something that you wrote? Did you ever get a chance to actually get out like copies and stuff, or did you just write it? What was the situation with that?
Well, I wrote it through my last incarceration, but the federal institution I was at made it very difficult to use any types of computers. So we had to use these ancient typewriters. And I got frustrated with this typewriter trying to rewrite chapters and stuff like that. So I ended up shelving it. I sent it out, and I actually just got it back in the mail. So I'm thinking about sitting down and really rehashing it, because I want a lot of guys to understand about destiny, about life, and how, you know what I'm saying, the power of thought and the power of action can bring out whatever it is that you want to bring out in life, but you also got to be prepared for it. You know, it's a great book called Thinking in Destiny by a guy, Harold Percival. And man, he breaks down the power of thought down to the mathematics and everything. It's a powerful piece. It's another set of books. I think his name is Dr. I know it's called Power and Consciousness. Power versus Consciousness. Some I forget. I done read so many of them. But he breaks down consciousness to a mathematical vibratory rate and shows you just basically how to make things happen. But people don't realize, even if you don't know this information, you're still using it every single day. You're still thinking, you're still acting, you're still vibing, you're still using these principles. So if you don't understand them, you can use them to your own detriment, and you can use them to your own greatness.
Have you ever had a scenario, you know, the be careful what you ask for because you might get it?
Oh, absolutely.
And are you really,
John
like,
be telling me
careful?
that all the time. John tells me all the time. He's like, Cecil, you be careful what you're putting out there, bro. You're gonna end up with it.
Man, a lady told me a long time ago. I was a kid. I met a spiritual lady, and she told me, "You want anything in life? I can show you how to get it." But no, she said it's 3 things. You got to name 3 things that you want in life, and I can show you how to get it. So I'm like, "Yeah, tell me." So she said, "You write them down and you repeat this chant every time. Focus on one of them at a time." And she gave me this chant, and I actually seen the chant in the movie about what was that, Ike and Tina Turner, when Tina Turner turned her life around and she was sitting chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And that's the chant that the lady had told me when I was a child, to make these 3 wishes. So my first wish was, man, I wanted to be the best rapper ever. You know, so I sit down and I'm doing that, but I also was told by somebody else, you can't just wish for it, you got to work for it. So with my wish and my work behind the scenes, I feel like that's what I was becoming and working toward, and also made the other 2 wishes. But she also said, if you don't take them when they come, they'll never come back.
That's the door. I call that part the door. So, you know, just, you can make the wish, and I call it like asking the universe to provide an opportunity. And the universe can provide it. And usually it's in a creative way because it can't reveal itself. But the hardest part most of the time is walking through that door. And that's what most people won't do, is they'll get the door presented. And then not everyone has that ability to walk through.
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of people, that's where a lot of these sciences teach about consciousness. Consciousness is awareness and paying attention to everything that's going around you. So like you say, when the universe starts to formulate a world around your thoughts to bring them forth, you may not even see it, because our limited views and ideas, we don't see it coming a certain way. Some people might wish for money. Okay, you wish for money. What if somebody got to die and you get a life insurance policy? You know what I'm saying? You got to be very specific about what it is that you're looking for and how you look to get it, but you also got to be prepared when that opportunity arises. So, you know, constantly you see people wishing for things and hoping for things, and then steadily missing the opportunity. It's like the story of the people that was going down the river on their way to the waterfall. And they like, God, help us. And the log floats past. They like, God, please help us. Don't let go of it. And a turned over boat floats past. And finally they go over the cliff. And they get to heaven and they ask God, man, why you ain't help us? You didn't hear us praying. Say, you ain't seen the log I sent you? You just turned over boat. And that's how we live life. You know what I'm saying? We pass logs and turned over boats all the time, but we look to the sky and wait for something to take place. It's already taking place. It's by the power of our thinking and actions.
Yeah. There's a there's a book and a and I guess a documentary called The Secret. John put me onto it, and he's like, look, when you get into this, he's like, you're gonna have to look past the fluff, and the fluff is, hey, if you put it into the universe enough, you're gonna get it. Wow, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari, I want a Ferrari, and he's like, look, you're not getting a fucking Ferrari just wishing it out there. But what it is if you put your mind on this Ferrari enough and you put it out there, that opportunity to grab that is going to come, but your eyes got to be wide enough to see, oh shit, this right here is my opening to get it. And it's probably going to come with some work. It's probably going to come with some sacrifice. And I think that that's the part where people get lost in translation, which is, well, I asked for it enough. You mean I'm not just going to get it? They're not just going to give me the fucking Ferrari? It's like, nah, bro, we gave you a door in to get it. And once I learned that asking for it and then looking for the opportunity and seeing that opportunity in front of me, that's when my whole life changed. 100% was witnessing the opportunity and then doubling down on it.
Oh, absolutely. Faith without works is worthless. So, you know what I'm saying? Then even wishing it, the mind is not just powerful enough within its regular conscious mind to make things come about. Them just fleeting thoughts. You really got to internalize it. You got to feel it. That's why they say visualize it, draw a picture of it, write it down, because you write things into existence. You speak things into existence. And once again, as a kid, I was on house arrest. And I used to sit in the window all day, couldn't come out. And it was a guy had an old school Chevy right outside, an older guy. And I used to be in the window asking him questions, and he was just annoyed by it. He hated me. I come outside, sneak and talk about this car. It was green with a white top. And I'm like, man, I want one of these. I'm going to get me one of these. Oh, you never get one of these. You got this, that, and the fourth. And he, just talking my dream down. I should sit in that window like, I'm going to show him. And my very first car, matter of fact, the car that me and Lazy and them used to go do gong shows in and kick it on 99th end was my very first car, 1966 Caprice Classic, black with a white top. Then I couldn't wait to take it up there and show that old man. It don't take long, player. All you got to do is want it, wish it, and make it happen.
Yeah. No, that's...
I found, and I'm wondering too, I found that there's like, lately I've been finding that there's like these tasks that I have to complete to then unlock the next step to the journey. Have you, from your experimentation or experience of it all, did you find that there's like a stage you have to pass, and then when you do it, it's not quite a reward, but it's like an item or access to the next level?
I think a lot of time we open doors because we don't realize we focus on a lot of different things. Our mind is not one track minded. So we can create all types of different things to go on, and some of them can conflict against each other, contradict each other, and we really got to weed it out. That's why I really like that Thinking in Destiny by Harold Percival, because he says when we get to a certain part of the manifestation, we stop. We stop learning from the experience, and we keep all these open experiences. And all these open experiences is really shrouding the one experience that we're really trying to have, because we keep wanting and seeing. Even the Buddhists, they say the greatest action is inaction. Sometimes we got to stop acting. Sometimes we got to stop putting our fingers in the ether and wishing for things, because our wishes can be small compared to the universe's order is tall. You see what I'm saying? So we can wish for things. You see, you might want a Ferrari, but they might got a string of Maybachs for you. You know what I'm saying? You thinking, and in the world of what you could attain, your wishes are small.
No, it's true.
I'm well aware of all of that. So I kind of just sit back and let things take place. I learned in prison, like people used to always be like, what you gonna go home and do? Man, shit, I don't know. You got to have a plan. No, I don't have to have a plan. What I need to do is prepare myself for opportunity, because I don't know what's going on out there. I don't know what job's going to come my way. Now, if I say, oh, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to start X, Y, and Z business, and I pass up all these other opportunities that people going to get me to the steps of what I want to do, because I've been one track minded and set my mind on doing one thing. So for me, I just prepare myself for opportunity. If I fine tune myself, I don't need to have all these great ambitions. My ambition is to take advantage of what the universe has for me.
When it comes to writing things down, because I've noticed that, I've seen the Laws of Power and all the great gurus, they always talk about writing it down. And I used to wonder, whenever I would do that, it would work. But I would think to myself, is it me challenging myself, or speaking on like the surveillance, the dark web and all that? Is there somebody watching that we have to put it on paper so their video cameras somewhere can see what it is we want? Like
I think we just the masters of our own destiny, and we creators. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the hand of God was the first thing they were speaking of. What's the hand of God? The one that's at the end of your wrist. So you know what I'm saying? When you sit down and you put things into writing, that's the hand of God writing the future. You know what I'm saying? When you think, and not only that, but it's using a different part of your brain that you might not use when you're talking. So what you're doing is opening up different compartments of the universal self to bring forth what it is that you want to do. So when you write it down or you see a picture of it, you visualize it. You're using the visual part of the mind. When you write it down, you're using the yod, the creative hand of God. You see what I'm saying? When you speak it into existence, God spoke the world into existence, right? You know what I'm saying? Through vibration. So when you use all these different elements, you write it, you think it, you speak it, all those different things is assimilating the small unit of the God body that we are to be able to bring out what it is that we want to manifest.
That is amazing. And you know what else is wild too is that woman that you spoke to all those years ago, she mentioned that it was 3 wishes. And that reminds me of the genie and the lamp, which I guess may relate to the Bhagavad Gita with like the lamp and all that, I guess India and all that. So is there something to that it's like, what's the 3 wishes, or is that more of like a numerical, the mind, body, spirit, God, Father, Holy Spirit, ego, id, superego? Like, why is it always 3 wishes? And did you find any, or is that just an arbitrary number, or did you find something specific, or is it like the sacrifice, the door, and speaking it into, because like the act of asking for the wish, that's the speaking of it.
Right.
Then I guess the wish presents with the door, and then there's some kind of a sacrifice to get through it. It's not like a human sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of time. It's a sacrifice of effort. It's a sacrifice of like letting go of fear to actually go through the door. I'm just wondering if there is anything to the 3 wishes. And if you don't know, that's fine too. I've always heard the 3 wishes, and I was wondering if there was something to that.
Well, a wise man knows he knows nothing. So I'm just saying from what I learned, if somebody can get something from it, I see that throughout so many teachings, the number 3 is significant. When you talk about the Holy Trinity, the mind, body, and soul, hell, earth, and heaven, what I'm saying? Everything was always split up in 3s. So I think the 3 is just a symbolic number for the 3 levels of existence. And that's mind, physical, and spirit. So, you know what I'm saying? When you thinking about wishes, those are the 3 things that you have to put behind any wish. Those are the 3 things that you got to put behind any ambition. I think they're just symbolic. And I think a lot of times we get so caught up in the literal meanings of things that we don't see the symbolism of something greater and higher of what it's really telling us. So, like I said, when I look at the number 3, that's what I see. I see that if I want to make any wish come true, and why do I need a whole bunch of them? Because if I make one good one, I don't even need 3.
I got a question. We're rounding into the 10 o'clock, which is when we shut the show down. So I got a question that I kind of want to get out there before I let you go. And I guess it's half a question, half your perspective for somebody that may be in this situation. How do you feel about the theory that prison will take someone that made a mistake and turn them into a career criminal? And if somebody was listening that may be in that situation or facing that situation, what kind of advice would you give them? Because that is a harsh reality, and a theory that's out there is that you can take somebody that made a small fuck up and put them in this system and that they never escape.
Well, I think the system is set up to not let you out of it, because once they get you in there, you become just another dollar value and another number. So it's easy to get caught up in the revolving door of it. You get out, you're on probation. Now you got all these stigmatisms against you. You're convicted felon. You're looking for jobs. You got parole officers on your back. You might have back child support. You might got all these different issues. Now the burden is greater to do what you got to do, and you got to do it immediately. And the system is not set up for men, first and foremost, but it's also not set up for priorly incarcerated men. So you get out and you find yourself behind the 8 ball. Where you gonna live? You got to go stay with somebody. Is that safe? Is that a safe environment? Is that a positive, conducive to success environment? So it's not just the system, but it's the cycle. So what do people do? They end up going back to doing what they need to do to put money in their pocket and food in their stomach immediately. You know what I'm saying? And the opportunity is not always out there. So I think that if a person doesn't have the right network and the right frame of mind, it's easy to get caught up into a revolving door and a cycle, and it'll just keep circulating through until you just decide, I got to make the hard choices. I got to do the things that I got to do.
Is there advice for someone in your shoes, or that's been in those shoes, of once you are out, how to handle life once you're out, especially someone that, may have faced incarceration for a long time? For you, the world had changed a lot. You had mentioned social media and just how we do things. What kind of advice would you give to somebody that's kind of hitting the ground running on how to handle things so that you don't end up right back in that situation? Because being institutionalized is a very real thing that people face.
I mean, first of all, you got to catch on before you catch up. And that's a lot of guys' problem. You know what I'm saying? They go out and they don't even know what the hell going on out here, but want to get in the thing and think everything like it used to be. So first of all, you got to take it slow. You got to be patient. You got to will and hell. All the first of this year, I was walking on the bus in the winter in a homeless shelter. You know, so people don't know that. That's a choice that I made.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying, it's where I'm at in life, and I needed to humble myself and really have an experience. I haven't caught the bus in since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I haven't been in that situation, but I placed myself in that situation because it's something that I felt like I needed to experience. You know, so I'm nowhere near that now, and it's only a couple months later, but that's an experience that humbled me, catching the bus to work, and, you know what I'm saying, going to work at 9 to 5, something I really haven't done in my life. So, you know what I'm saying, just by, sometimes you got to recreate yourself.
Yeah.
Master the art of the bold move, but you also got to humble yourself and make that bold move conducive to what it is that you're trying to be. Right now, I go to work a couple days a week. I go to work with the youth some days a week, but I also go work in banquet serving and kitchen serving because it's good to be social and learn how to step outside myself and be of service instead of being of a nuisance. So you got to really challenge yourself and see your negatives and your weaknesses and work toward whatever it is that you got to do to change that to make yourself a better person and create a new life for yourself.
It's almost like sometimes you got to take a few steps back if you want to take those steps forward you've been trying to take. Like if you're hitting that wall and you're not getting forward, it's almost like you might have to take a few steps back and take a different street or pull a U-turn before you're going to be able to take those steps forward that you've been trying to get to. Because you're a smart guy and you seem very motivated. Like I feel like now in your life, especially with your clear mind, that there's not much that you wouldn't be able to accomplish if you set out to do it. Unfortunately, in life, we find out so many times that some of these things just come with time and age and that veteran experience of knowing how to handle them.
That's what it is. The sooner you get it, though, the sooner you get it.
Yeah.
You know, so if it takes you a little later in life to get an understanding, then I guess that's when you got to get it. I was one of those people. I was a hard head, and I kept making the same mistakes, get caught up in the revolving door. You know what I'm saying? I had so many bouts of drug use, smoking water, and having bad episodes and letting that affect my life and my decision making. People don't realize that a altered mind is a dangerous thing to have. And in our communities and in the streets, there's so many people that's just liquor, weed, water, pills, and constantly having a mind-altering substance. When you're in a mind-altering state, you can't think straight. There is no consciousness. There is no awareness. The awareness that you have is not reality. So the life that you live is not realistic life when you offer these substances. So that's one thing that people got to realize. If you really want to be successful, you need a clear mind.
101, I want to thank you for the last minute jump in and spending the time to chop it up with us, chop it up with the fans. We talk about it all the time. We talked about it briefly, but I really hope we make you a regular staple here because I think that you're very intelligent, and it would be interesting. We were talking about it in the side chat. Busy used to have an affiliate named Mr. Majesty, and we interviewed Majesty recently, and you guys are so similar. I was like, man, we got to connect up Majesty and 101. You guys are very similar in your thoughts and even the way you rap, and it's always refreshing to talk to him, and it's been refreshing to talk to you. So I hope we get you back on again in the future. Whenever, hey, I told you last time, whenever you want to pop in, the door is always open. This is for you, my man.
All right, cool, man. I appreciate it.
Hell
Just you
yeah.
calling me out of all the people because you've had a lot of great people on here, interviewed a lot of great people. I'm sure you know a lot of people. So just to have me in mind to come fill in for somebody, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man. No, hey, you you were first on the list, bro. I was really excited. I told everybody, I was like, yo, I was so excited to do the one-on-one interview, but I was like, I kind of had some sadness after, and they were like, why? I was like, well, because it was over and there was so much buildup between me and one-on-one. We connected so well over like a month time span that it was like we
Right.
built it up and then it was over. So I'm glad that you're still connected to the show, and I really look forward to everything that you and I are working on the side, and I think it's going to be great. So I appreciate you taking the time to jump back on, man.
Absolutely, man. You're a great guy. I'm glad the universe brought us together.
Hell yeah, brother. Thank you, man. You have a great night.
All right, guys. Catch y'all later. Peace, everybody.
I'm looking forward to Derailed Destinies whenever it
Yeah.
comes
Oh
out.
yeah. Hey, that's what I was gonna say. Is we've done a few books, bro. Me and John have done a few books. So if you need some guidance, we can help guide you,
It's sitting on my bed right now.
bro.
I got it in the mail not too long ago, and I just got to start finding time to hash it out.
Well, we'll talk offline. You let me know. Like I said, John, how many books you done, John? I've only done one, and John oversaw the whole thing.
Yeah, the winter is a good time for me. That's when I really got less things, and I really sit down and think through the winter, through the cold months. So I'll probably get on that when the fall hit.
Hell yeah. Just let me know, bro. You know we got you on it.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, brother. Have a great night.
All right, y'all too. Peace.
Peace.
Beyond the harmony for the fans, we celebrate. Uploading new videos every Thursday, so join